If you have kept those induction or Uber turbine wheels on your Model 3 or Model Y scratch-free up to now but you don't know when your luck will run out, or if you're like me, you've just given up being overly cautious because you know they'll get scratched again, well, you've come to the right place, because in this video, I'll show you a product which can hide existing curb rashes and at the same time provide excellent protection to prevent further damages to those beautiful Tesla wheels. I'll do the unboxing, installation, share tips, answer some FAQs, and give it a DIY ability score, so let's get stuck in. So with the box very tightly packed, I see 4 rows of boxes. One box is a set of protection for one wheel, so let's go right ahead and sort of put that box aside. So, oh, and by the way, you'll get one plastic pry tool, which you'll need during the installation process, and also if you need to pry out damaged segments, if you need to replace them in the future. So hope you wouldn't have to use this ever again after this installation process, because if you did, chances are you must have damaged your rim case. So the box. First, the box looks really premium. If you look at the back of the box, it says there it comes with 9 regular segments and 1 valve segment, so that's one full wheel set. As I've said, this is for my Tesla Model Y with 20-inch induction wheels, but you can also get this for the 21 Uber turbines for the Model Y, which also retails for the same price. And looking at the bottom label there, it says designed in California and made in China. So I've got my box cutter. Let's crack this open. So who is MagBak anyway? I've known them for creating smartphone accessories in general. It's good that they're venturing out to other product niches. So hopefully we'll see more new Tesla accessories from MagBak in the near future to compete with established companies in this niche, such as Hansho and Tessoris, for example. So let's see what we have here. We have the instruction manual. It's nicely laid out. So what to do first, wheel preparation, what's in the box, and protective films. And then if you flip it on the other side, we've got the installation steps here, which I'll go through in this video. So I'll use this as reference and create this video instruction for you guys. So here we have the films. We got 2 sets of films here, and might be wondering, why do we have a film? Well, it says here the protective films are designed to help protect the wheel from hairline scratches caused by road debris, dirt, and particles. They need to be installed before the rim case segment. So I suppose particles can get trapped between the wheel and the rim case segments, and if you don't have the protective film, those particles will rub directly against the wheel, which will cause those micro abrasions. It's nice that they also give you 3 sets of alcohol wipes to make sure the wheel is clean, free from dirt and grease, but in my case, I actually used 2 towels to prep the wheel before installing the film, and then I used a 3rd one to prep the film before attaching the segment. And of course, the main star of this show, we have the some nice good rubbery rubber band there. This is the regular segments. Got VHB tape here from 3M, so this rim case segments won't go anywhere. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we have the other set also with this white rubber band, and that's the, I guess, the valve segment. Nice cutout there so that you can put the valve stem through. 6, 7, 8, 9. So in total, you should get 10 segments, 9 regular ones and 1 valve segment. Okay, let's put this aside because I want to find out how much each of the segment weigh, and I've got this handy dandy kitchen scale. So let's put that right over there next to the Tesla. So let's do a reset. Okay, that's 23. It's 23 grams. Let's do another one. 23. Okay, we'll go with 23 for the regular segment. And then the valve segment, 21. Cool. Okay, let's go with that. So just doing the sum there, 23 times 9, that's 207. And then we have 21. So that's 228 grams. Not that much. I think that's equivalent to the weight of an average size hamster. So you can either have 4 average size hamsters running inside your Tesla wheels, which gives you a Tesla boost of 4 hamster power, or you can have this rim case to protect your wheels. So you either get wheel protection from curb rash or an extra 4 hamster power. Take your pick. I know what I choose. So what's unique about rim case? Well, I think unlike other products, this segmented approach allows you to pry out damaged pieces and replace them with new ones very quickly. And the way they designed each segment is that it's got that interlocking mechanism, which gives you that seamless look at each connection point, and you can barely notice it's there. It even has those rounded corners right there and on that side. So looking at it from like maybe 3 or 4 feet away, you'd be fooled they are one continuous round piece, but in fact they're 10 separate pieces put together. And looking at it more closely, you can see it's really thicker on the upper part, which is where most damage will occur, and it's really hard. But in terms of scratchability, I don't want to scratch that piece, but I'll try it at the back here. You can see it gets scratched up really easily. But I suppose since this is plastic, you can just probably do you can probably sand it with fine grit sandpaper, and that will just sort of go away and polish it up. And you can see that one clamps to the top of the rim, and that's the other piece that clamps to the inner body of the rim. So there are 2 clamps, one on the top, one on the middle part, and plus you have 3M tape, so this is not going anywhere. So I had a look at the website that's in this QR code, and there are a few FAQs in the website. Just want to go through each one of them. So the question you might be wondering is that given each set weighs about 228 grams, or 1 hamster, will you need to rebalance the wheels? And the answer that MagBak provided is that you don't have to, because these segments are evenly distributed across the wheel, so you don't need to rebalance your wheel. So it's a zero-sum installation. Well, of course, as long as all the segments are attached. So make sure you have all the segments attached. Well, what do you mean attached? Well, are you saying that segments will fly off when driving at high speeds? Like I said, if you have a look at the way it's attached to the wheels, you've got a clamp on the top, clamp at the bottom, and 3M tapes. So that's not going anywhere. What about if I need to change my tires? Like, for example, I've done 20,000 kilometers on my car, and probably in the next year or a year and a half I need to change it. Do I need to remove these? Well, I've seen how they refit tires on wheels, and yep, you need to remove the rim case before you send your car for a tire replacement. Another question you might ask is whether the rim case can withstand pressure washing. Well, in the MagBak website, it said it can withstand normal car wash conditions, so I suppose that includes using these brushes and spraying them with these pressure washers. Here you can see me using it with both high and low pressure. But before you put these wheels through pressure washers, Make sure to wait for the 3M tapes to fully cure, which is roughly around 72 hours. So I'm gonna work on the front left wheel, but it's the same process for all the wheels. Just make sure you read all the instructions carefully, what to do to prep the wheels, and the instructions on the leaflet. And highly recommended to have a cushion to kneel on, because this is very painful on the knee if you're kneeling on the floor for 30 minutes and longer. So have a cushion for your knee when you start this job. So first, grab your alcohol wipes and we're just gonna clean the outside perimeter up to here where the protective film will go. Wait for that to dry up, so we'll just give it a few minutes. You can see it all dry up now. With the ones with curb rashes, I try to smoothen it out with my rotary tool, so I don't have that jagged edges, so it's more smoother. So let's start with the thin film. So let's go right ahead and peel one protective film off. And so with this thin film, you actually put it on top of the spoke right at the perimeter, and you have these cutouts line up against the top edge. This is longer than the actual spoke, so what they suggest is you bias it to the right so it'll overhang on the right. One tip when installing these protective film is that you just let the film follow the contour. You don't stretch it because it's actually curved, the same shape as the perimeter of the wheel. So just let it get a nice good viewing angle and just let it sit roughly around that crease there, and then just let the film actually follow the contour of the perimeter, and then use this tool to just let the film sort of stick all around the edge. If you made a mistake attaching these arc films, like for example it's not straight, or like in this case it's sitting way too low that you can see it from under the segment, you can carefully peel them off and reposition them. It doesn't lose adhesiveness that easily, and the films are pretty durable, but try not to rip them. And if you do rip them, they actually give you 1 or 2 spare arc films depending on your wheel. In my case, since I have the 10 spoke inductions, I have 2 spare arc films. From here, just continue applying all the arc films on each spoke. Okay, I've got 5 more to go. Okay, so just a tip when attaching this, the big plastic film. Try not to stretch it, and align the top just as, and then try to make sure it's center between these segments, and this edge here, it's almost touching the tire, not so much, but try to align it in those areas and not to bend the protective film. If you, like for example, I didn't catch that piece, I'm just going to move it just ever so slightly so it connects that end, and then when I'm happy with that, I think it's got good alignment. Not really So not really happy. Again, I can just lift it up. It's really adhesive is pretty good quality, doesn't really lose. So just try to align it as best as you can, and once that's top's lined up, most likely the bottom also will line up. Again, try not to stretch the film, let the contour hug the wheel, and just and then use this tool to wrap around all the way to the back. And if you have a smaller tool, pry tool, just lay it there like that. Unfortunately, the big segment doesn't have an extra, they don't provide you with extra films. It would be nice to have 2 extra ones as well. Again, the view is really difficult here, but I think I got it okay there. Again, try not to stretch, just let it fall into place. If it's the right position, you won't have a problem. If you have bubbles, just okay. Yep. You might find it hard to attach the protective film on the bottom half of the wheel because of the angle. It gets really tricky to see the bottom bits. I guess the alternative here is to move your car so that this bottom bits becomes the top, but if you don't have a long driveway, one trick is to align that edge to that edge, and just really get in there, so it makes it easy to see because it's a good viewing angle. Then again, just let it fall into place. No need to stretch it. If you have bubbles and you want to get rid of it, just go right ahead and peel it up and stretch it, and get rid of the bubbles. And as before, you can use this pry tool to stick that bits over, and there you have it. We're now ready to attach each of the segments, and they recommend that you start with the valve segment. When peeling the backing film, just press on the tip there just until the backing film goes up, and then just peel it. Same on this other edge here, just press it at the edge there until it goes up, and then peel it off. Push this corner all the way in. You can feel it at the back. It's clamped in, and so far the 3M adhesive tape hasn't kicked in yet, so now it's sort of nice and secure at the back. I can feel it, and then all I need to do is push it in. You can see there's a bit of a big gap there. I could have done that better a bit, but let me just go right ahead and continue everything. But maybe for the other wheel, I'll make sure that I could push it all the way up. So I'm gonna continue attaching all the rest of the segment. You start from the valve segment and work your way around clockwise. Same procedure. Align this corner, push it to the edge. Make sure you can feel it clamp onto the back, and then sort of swivel it up like that. You can hear it click. Just continue attaching the rest of the segments in clockwise direction. The last segment is a bit tricky. That's probably the most trickiest part of the installation. When you have finished installing all the segments, and then you're at this point where the last segment would need to connect to the first segment. I've had several goes at it, and each time it's a different experience, but I think I know what works based on what is in the MagBak website and based on what I've done. So I've got the last piece here. This is where you need this special pry tool. So let's just go right ahead and peel this adhesive backing film. There you go. This is the fourth time I've done it. I haven't done it perfectly on all the three wheels. Let's just say that. And in part it's because I don't know how to use this pry tool correctly. If you notice, there's a dip there. That's actually need to go in all the way until that bit touches this tire, the side wall of the tire. I was just doing this and it sort of comes off like this. And I wasn't holding it properly, so in one wheel the whole thing came off. So I think fourth time's a charm. I think I've got it all figured out. So the first thing you need to do is attach this properly. So don't worry about this at the moment. Just worry about the usual stuff. So making sure that the back has clamped on, and there you go. So that was easy. It clamped on okay, so the adhesive is okay. So now the issue is this. We need to tuck this inside, and this is where the proper use of this tool and supporting its segment at the bottom here comes into play. So just insert that all the way until that sort of goes in, and then using your thumb on your other hand, just align that in. Some more, and that's it. So that went okay. After 4 attempts, that was smoother, a lot smoother, because now I know how this works. There you go, that's perfect. And now I'm gonna give this project a DIY ability score. This is the part where I rate the work I've done by judging it across 5 categories. Each category can get a score between 1 and 10, so the maximum score any of my DIY project can get is 50. First, let's look at affordability. The upfront cost to get the RimCase is definitely on the expensive end. But in order to do a meaningful comparison with products from other companies, I also considered the long-term value proposition, because let's face it, there's a high probability I'll scratch those wheels again. In fact, I already did mine even before I finished filming this video. Ouch. So how can I save money in the long run if I get RimCase? Well, firstly, you do so by getting the 4+1 wheel option, which will set you back $338. It's a bit pricey, but having that extra 10 segments covers you for future curb rashes. And assuming each damage requires 2 segments to repair, technically speaking, you're covered for at least 5 future scratches. And plus, since RimCase is made of hard durable plastic, you can even DIY scratch repair them, so you might not even need to replace them at all. And I don't think other shield solutions like rim savers are as DIY friendly as the RimCase. So considering all these factors, this project gets an affordability score of 9 out of 10. Next up, quality. Undoubtedly, the quality of the RimCase is excellent. I like their unique approach to the problem. It's packaged well, the instruction manual and support materials in the website are very clear, and I like that you get 2 extra arc protective films per box if you have the induction wheels. This was a nice surprise for me. The only downside is that it would have been nice if the protective films have guidelines so you know how far up you need to apply them so it doesn't show up, especially on the arc area of the segment. And why can't the protective film come in one piece instead of a separate body and arc? I think that contributed to the difficulty of the installation. So hopefully we see an improvement here in the future. This project gets an 8 out of 10 for quality. Moving on to satisfaction, the RimCase is definitely very effective at hiding and protecting the wheel against curb rashes. I just wished I had it installed sooner and prevented any curb rashes on the wheels in the first place. But regardless, I'm happy knowing that no further curb rashes can harm my wheels while the RimCase is installed. One less obvious advantage of having RimCase is being able to freely rotate the wheels any way I want. I normally curb rash the far side front wheel, so if I did a wheel rotation, the good wheels will be on the vulnerable position. With RimCase, I don't have to worry about that. And as far as disadvantages go, it's needing to remove the RimCase before any tire replacement. I'm not really looking forward to that because that means I probably need new protective films. So I'm giving this project a 7 out of 10 for satisfaction. Next, let's talk about fit and finish. The RimCase blends really well with the induction wheels. You know it's there, but it also doesn't look out of place. They did a really good job color matching it with the wheels, even though they're made from 2 different types of materials. So good fit overall when viewed from a distance. One thing I wasn't too happy about was access to the valve cover is somewhat harder, especially for those who have big hands. I also noticed some of the 3M adhesives didn't seat well during installation, so I get this clicking sound when I press on them. With all that considered, this project gets a fit and finish score of 8 out of 10. And last but not the least, we have fun factor. Installing the protective film and connecting the last segment were the hardest parts of the installation. And not knowing how to use the pry tool properly made it worse, especially that time when the valve segment came off. Then you're also left with lots of bubbles under the film, and even though it doesn't have a negative impact, it doesn't look satisfying to apply them. So it'll be nice if they just make these films really solid black so you don't see the bubbles underneath. And lastly, kneeling down for more than 30 minutes per wheel is also not a fun thing to do, even if you have a cushion underneath. I still find it painful if you're on your knees for more than, let's say, to do the whole car, at least 2 to 3 hours straight. So I'm giving this project a 7 out of 10 for fun factor, which gives this project a total of 39 points out of 50, putting it at 5th place overall. And that's all I have for you in this video. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them down below or write me an email at autos.gizmos@gmail.com. And finally, if you find this video helpful, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit that like button. This will help YouTube improve their algorithm, making this video become available to other like-minded individuals, and at the same time, helping me grow this channel. Thanks for watching and see you next time.